Before I even did this, let me see if I can. I had, I want to make sure I do not be disturbed. Should have did that first. All right. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure that while I'm talking to y'all that my phone is not ringing. Because y'all, my phone rings constantly. I'm trying to think if I want to do it from that angle or this angle. And let me first tell y'all, it's a lot of humming noise because I'm in my bedroom. I have my PJs on. This is not alcohol. This is not alcohol or this is just Sprite. I don't want to drink alcohol when I'm feeling the way I am, because it intensifies my attitude that's not going to be pleasant to nobody. But I'm hot. So I'm in my room. The AC is on. That's the humming. Let me see if I can move you guys to possibly over here. Because this way, if anybody says anything, I can see the comments. So yeah. I haven't been on here in a while. Like I want to say a month now because I've been going through so much, y'all. And life itself had just been pretty much kicking my ass. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been really rough. Life has been really rough. Bottom line, it's been really rough. I'm not trying to show my toes because they're not done. But y'all, so much has happened in my life, and to a point that you start questioning, like this cannot be real. This just cannot be real. And I'm always going back to like, let me stop talking in circles. First of all, I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you are viewing me. I'm hoping that your day is going fantably. So yeah, y'all, I told many of y'all on my channel that I lost my mom. First, it was my brother. I lost my brother, then my sister, then my mom, and then my dad. My parents had 6 kids, so it is still four of us left. So it's rough. It's rough, y'all. It's really rough. And I never thought about it. I never thought like one day you're not gonna have your parents, one day your brother is not gonna be here, one day your sister is not gonna be here. I was brought up in a church, a Baptist church, and although we knew about death, but it's just like to a child, death happens when you're older. To That's the way my mind was then. Like your death happens when you're old. But my brother wound up passing away like a week after he turned 30. My sister actually passed away a week before she turned 40. And after my mom done lost those 2 kids, she wasn't the same anymore, but she was still here. Y'all, this is story time. And it's been messing me up. And it's not one day, y'all. Even though my mom passed in 2011, when they said it gets easier, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I can look at certain things and laugh, but in my heart, I'm still hurting so badly. And even though losing my brother hurt me, losing my sister hurt me, losing my dad hurt me, nothing hurt me more than losing my mom. Me and my mom was so close. Like, I think it's because the fact that I was the youngest. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what just happened. It just said service was interrupted. But I was the youngest, and it was like me and my mom did so much together. We just like Madlock, Murder She Wrote, Columbo, like all the Dark Shadows. Like when I ask people about Dark Shadows, nobody know what I'm talking about because that was like a soap opera of my mom's time, and I used to watch it with her. And it just basically, even though my dad was there, besides working and the church events and stuff, it was always just me and my mom at home. Y'all, I I go back to I go back to the day she died. And if I could get past that point, then I probably can accept it better. But I said this is story time, so I'm putting a lot of stuff out here that most people would be like, I can't believe you saying, but I don't really care. Like that's my life right there, y'all. I really don't care. A lot of things that I should care about, I'm starting to not really care about a lot of things. Like, and I don't want my heart to turn black, just cold, but I find myself being that way. All right. So, y'all, my mom, she had a condition called Charcot-Marie Tooth. I got a mild condition of Charcot-Marie Tooth. My sister that's alive, she got Charcot-Marie Tooth. Uncle got Charcot-Marie Tooth. Great grandma had Charcot-Marie Tooth. It's hereditary. It's rough. It's hereditary, the whole nine yards. So my mom used to talk about all the time that one day when she got better, that she was so tired of my dad. They was married for 49 years. My mom was 17, he was 21 when they got together. They immediately started having kids back to back until my sister that passed away, until they had her. And then I was that oops child, like we wasn't wanting no more children, but they was hoping that they was gonna have a boy, but they wind up having me. You know what I mean? So hi. So hi everyone that's joining me. So they wind up having me, right? So my dad, he was the world to me, y'all. Like when I didn't have life the way my sisters and them had it. If you talk to my sisters and if my brother was alive, they was abused. They was abused. They was that old fashioned. My dad was that old fashioned type of guy that he was beating the kids. And I guess when they came to me, they was just tired. So I didn't get in trouble, y'all, at all. Like it was just like whatever she want, just give it to her. They too be too old for this and stuff like that. So I didn't experience my dad being that type of guy. But y'all, I said I was gonna do this without crying. So I'm trying. My mom, she was getting better. She was in a chair. She was starting to get she was starting to get her strength back. We knew she wasn't going to be 100%, but we knew she was getting her strength back. And she used to say all the time, like, y'all don't know what your dad is doing. Y'all don't know what your dad is doing. And to me, my dad could walk on water. So I'm like, Mom, Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you, because when we was there, my dad just jumped. Like my mom wanted this, my dad just jumped. My dad just did this, my dad just did that. But I guess the story goes like I guess the story goes you don't never know what's going on behind closed doors. I remember we all went out to Red Lobster because my mom wanted to go to Red Lobster. And this right here is about 2 days before she died. We went to Red Lobster. We had a good time. My mom, she ordered, but she really didn't eat. It was like she couldn't eat. You know what I mean? So I know, like sometimes I have a hard time catching my breath, but I know that is the condition. You know what I mean? Sometimes I would. It's very hard to explain. Like I just like, "Ugh." And I just I'm trying to calm myself because I'm so like. Let me. Thank you. Mimi and you Sing and okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to recognize your names, like say your names during story time, but I'm so a distance from the thing. But anyway, I remember my mom the next day I came over, and the next day was a Saturday, and I wanted to spend the day with my mom. So I didn't have my car. I didn't have no car, y'all. So I live in Lindenwood. They live in Willingboro. So that's about if I'm driving, it's a 45-minute drive. If I'm taking transportation, I'm getting on the train and then I'm getting on another train and then I'm gonna get on the bus. So it would take some time for me to get there, but I did it though. I remember my mom saying to me, my dad was outside and he was by the car, and she was like, Vernon, your dad tried to choke me last night. And I'm like, Mom, because remember, y'all, my dad in my head, he could walk on water. He never act that way. So I'm thinking like my mom is spoiled and she just wanted. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just was like, Mom, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. And then um she asked me, was I gonna stay the night? And I was so much in a rush to get back home. I was so much in a rush to get back home. And I'll be thinking now, like, why? Why was I rushing? Why was I rushing to get back home? Like, she wanted me to stay the night. And I told her, I said, I'll stay tomorrow night with you, Mom, okay? I promise. I'll be back and I'll stay tomorrow night. So the next morning was Sunday. I turned off my phone. I'll never turn off my phone. I'll never turn off my phone. That night, I turned off my phone and I woke up, I turned the phone on and I woke up to so many missed calls and missed messages from my sister. And she just was like, Barney, why you not answering your phone? Why you not answering your phone? Like, so she said, get to the hospital. Mom's in the hospital, get to the hospital. And all the way, like I'm asking her in the car, like, is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? And she wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't say anything. She just said, get in, go to the hospital, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. So we, my husband and I, we was getting ready for church during that time. So we just stopped what we was doing. We got in the car and we drove to the hospital. And like The last thing I remember seeing is that tooth in my mom's mouth, and she was already going by the time I got there, like, and I'm like, she asked me to stay, and she asked me to stay. She asked me to stay, and she told me the night before that my dad tried to choke her, and I'm just brushing it off because it's like it's like I'm like, you got to be the most horriblest daughter ever. Like, you got to be horrible, like, to have your mom tell you something and you brush it off like it was nothing. But y'all, this just I just can't get my life together because like every single time, every single time I try to to think about my mom in a good way. It's just like that last moment just sticks with me. It's like it sticks with me so much because it's like I should have been there. Like instead of me just brushing it off and she wanted me to stay the night. It was like I was rushing to come home for what? Because y'all, when I said that I'm home alone a lot. I'm home alone a lot. My husband, he's the only time that I'm not home alone is when he's working because he works from home. But straight after work, my husband is a part of all these organizations that he just enjoy being born. So it's like I have Hope and Cujo. But other than that, I'm home alone all the time. Like, and his thing is he'll say is I've been home all day. You've been home all day working, working. I'm just like, when I said that life doesn't really bring me that big like joy that I should have, it really doesn't. The only thing that I really can say that I'm really grateful for and brings me so much joy, other than Hope and Cujo, is my grandkids. Like, I love being a grandma and I love when they're here and I have them like Monday through Friday. I have them. And it's like I get tired a lot though because of the fact that I have this condition. I'm on medication and I'm not the age I was when I was having my children. So now when I have the kids and I'm trying to keep up with them, my age is a little bit rough than it was when I was younger. So not that I'm calling myself old, it's just that I'm at a point in my life right now where I feel like I should be traveling. I should be like just living my best life until God called me home. But y'all, I just wanted to really tell like the story, the time of how I found out my mom died. How when people say like you'll find them tears not tears no more, they just be joy. They're not. They're not joy. They're not. They're they're a lot of pain. A lot of pain. And I keep my mom's pictures above like out all the time. Like and my dad, y'all, my dad, he started supposedly he started seeing someone a week after the funeral. Um It was a younger woman who a younger woman who was married like at least 7 times prior, and all of her husbands was deceased. What they call that, the black widow. And she my dad was financially very well off, y'all, very well off. Like my dad, he was, like, we don't like to say millionaire, but yeah. She took him for every single dime he had. She took him for everything. The house that she wound up having him sell the house that was left for me and my siblings, and he did that. And I believe she forged my older sister's signature on that. We don't believe, we know she did that. And the money for that house, we know he gave that to her. And he was homeless for a while that we didn't even know. And then he wound up moving into a facility, what they call it, not a nursing home, because you take care of yourself and stuff, but it's apartments, but they check on you, assistant living kind of thing. So you got the freedom, you have your own apartment inside the building and stuff like that. So he wound up moving into there, and I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't because he was still my dad, if that makes sense. So my dad wound up getting dementia. She she the woman, she left my dad because she found out that, because they wound up getting married, y'all, but she had to get it annulled, because if not, the money that she had from the husband prior to my dad, she wouldn't have been able to get the rest of those benefits. So they had to get that annulled, and they was supposed to be getting remarried after the benefits was gone. So you know how she was. The house that she moved in, we know that she used the money that he had for the house, my parents' house, the house that was supposed to be left for me and my siblings. Um, she left him until the pension and social security day. So every month when it was time for him to get his check, she tried to come around and stuff like that. And he was really accepting her. And then soon when she took the check and stuff, that's when she would leave him again. So what I wound up doing, it got so bad, y'all, at the bank. When I went to the bank, the bank even was telling me that don't trust her. Like, that's how bad it was. So what I did was I wound up talking to his doctors because he had dementia, and I wound up getting what's it called? Power of attorney over him. So, which once I did that, I put the restraining order on her because I didn't want her to come by and edging him back up, because half times he wasn't in his right mind. So I moved him in to my place because even though that he was staying there, they wasn't really keeping an eye on him. So it was one day that he left the building without anybody knowing, and he walked so far that the cops had to get him, and they was like questioning where he was at. Thank God, I think he had like a band on him or something like that. And they was able to take him back to the apartment. Then, like, the way he had his apartment set up, he used to be really good with computers and stuff like that. But with the technology of TVs now, you got the Fire Stick, the Roku, and the smart TV. He wasn't comprehending that anymore, and he loved watching Judge Fate. So I would leave my house at like 3 in the morning because he would call me every morning at 3 in the morning because he wanted to watch something on this TV, and I was trying to explain to do how to do it from the phone, but he wasn't comprehending what I was saying. So I would leave my house 3 in the morning, drive all the way to Burlington, which was like a 50-minute ride, and do that for him, and then I would leave and come back home and then go back to him again during the daytime. So that was just too much. So, and then he wasn't remembering to pay his bills. So he would argue because he had dementia. He would argue and say, "I pay that. I pay that. I don't owe this no more. I own this. I own that." So I had to start paying his bills. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I had to like, pay his bills and stuff, which was difficult because I had control over his money and he didn't want, like, he would say, "What you paying that? What you doing with that? No, don't pay that. I own that. I own that." So I would have to like be sneaky about it and pay it. And still the money that I had from doing, DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, and all them, I would put money in his hands so it would look like he had the money and it wasn't paid out. So eventually I moved him into my home. I talked to my husband about it. And really, I didn't care what he was going to say. I'm not even going to lie, y'all, because that was my dad. I moved him into my house. And before I did that, I like had my daughters help me. I made his room, the whole room setup look identical to his room at that where he was staying at. Everything, the dressers, everything was the same. Even though I didn't take the dressers from out of his house, I wound up getting the same furniture that he had and set it up like that. And the bathroom is right across from where his bedroom was at, which was really convenient because if he got up in the middle of the night, he would go straight to the bathroom because I set it up everything the same way. So then he wound up losing that. And then he became very dependent on me when it came to diapers and baths and stuff. And I never, like, my dad, he wasn't like the type of person that you could get an aid in because he just, if he didn't recognize you, he wanted no parts. So I started bathing him and I started feeding him and I started changing him and cleaning him up when he had his accidents and things like that. And I know, like, everybody was saying, like, what happened, about your mom and stuff, but he's still my dad. Like, he's still my dad. He was still my dad. I remember, y'all, I was planning a trip for my husband. I'm sorry, y'all, because this gets me every time, and I don't want to be on here crying again. I was planning a birthday party. My husband's birthday is the 1st of October. Mine is the 6th of October. I was planning a birthday party for my dad, not my dad, for my husband. And I didn't want to take my dad because he was completely dependent on me. So I wasn't going to go anywhere. I just was going to do something here. But then this place, Samaritan, told me that they can keep him for that weekend. And they said, trust me, he's going to enjoy it because my dad liked to play the piano. We would keep him very entertained. So I talked to my dad and I said, Dad, it's a place and it you could play the piano there. It'd be fun. I said, because me and Keith was gonna go somewhere. Like he understood some things, you know what I mean? So he was like, okay, baby, that's fine. So when it came time for him to leave and we was about to take our flight, I said to him, I said, Dad, sorry, y'all. I said, Dad, what do you want? I said, what do you want to eat? I knew what he wanted. My dad loved tuna fish and he loved ginger ale. So I said, Dad, you want me to make you a tuna fish and ginger ale for the roll? He said, yeah, make me two. So I said, okay, I'll make you two tuna fish sandwiches. And y'all, he didn't like really nobody to cook for him but me. So I made him two tuna fish sandwiches and ginger ale. And in a bag that I packed, his little suitcase for the clothes that he was gonna be wearing that I packed. I put snacks in it too, because my dad loves snacks. Like he turned from my dad to my child. And he loves snacks. So I packed a snack and my daughter just she put a thing on it saying that if he gets agitated or anything, please call. And she had my number, her number, my sister's number, but I tried y'all so hard to get somebody else to keep him. I didn't want him to go to strangers, but I tried, and nobody in my family was like helping me with him. That would have him. I did not want to leave him, and so we left, and we knew we was gonna be back on my birthday. But let me wind back. When he left, y'all, he was all bubbly. He was walking through the house, and because my dad, he still walked. He still walked. So they brought him back. First of all, we got back the day before my birthday. So I called them immediately because I wanted my daddy back home. They said, Miss Wood, they was like, Mrs. Wood, we know you want your dad back home, but the ride is not going to be available for him until tomorrow. So I said, okay, well, I'll come and get him. They said, well, it's paperwork and stuff like that. Just let us bring him back. We promise we'll bring him back to you in the morning. And I'm like, I'm sure he'll want to come back tonight. They said we'll have first in the morning. So I was like, okay, that be my birthday. That's my birthday gift. My daddy will be back home to me. Then they called me that morning and they tried to switch another date. And I said, no, absolutely not. I said, I don't care if I gotta come and get him. I don't care if my husband gotta come and get him. I want my dad back home today. I said, today's my birthday. I want my dad back home. Y'all, they brought my dad. Before they brought my dad, they said he's going to look a little bit different probably than he did when he left home. I'm not understanding that. What you mean? And he said he looks a little bit different. And I'm like, oh, my dad was agitated and stuff like that. So he probably fussing because he was somewhat fussing when he left. But so my daughter called me because I was in the kitchen cooking. I wanted my dad to have a nice breakfast when he got in. My daughter called me and she said, Mom, they got pop up on the stretcher. What? So I go look at my dad, and all you could hear was gurgling. All you could hear was gurgling. All you heard was gurgling. And I'm like, what? What happened? Like when he left, he walked out, he was happy. Like, what happened? They was like, they said that he just woke up like this. And I'm like, how do he was fine this whole time, except for like not recognizing everybody, but he was fine. My dad was gurgling. I had him in the back room instead of his normal room. I put him in the back room because I wanted it to be next to my bedroom so I could hear him. And and I sat in the room with him a lot. So every time I went in there to try to feed him something, he just was gurgling like he didn't know I was there. You know, and I'm like, they dropped him off and said happy birthday. And so my daughter, she was going through a rough time. My other daughter was going through a rough time. So she had to have nurses come to the house because she was pregnant and she high risk pregnancy. And I asked the nurse, I said, I know this is not your job, but can you do me a favor? Can you go back there with me and look at my dad? Because I'm like, I can't wake him up. And only thing I can hear is gurgling. I had this machine that I would squeeze out all of the fluids and stuff that was stuck in his throat. And she said, "Can I be honest with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Your dad is born." She said, "That's it." I just lost it. I called an ambulance, and when they took my dad to the hospital, it was like they had him on the machine. Like they just had him on the machine, and it was like his kidneys are too bad. His, he's not breathing on his own. It was like they were just trying to tell me that pretty much, just say your goodbyes. And I'm just like, I never felt so alone. It's like I don't have my mom no more, and now I don't have my dad. I just was like, get ready to do another funeral. but but y'all, it's like to this day, and it's been a few years now, y'all. I can't get rid of his clothes. Like his clothes is still in the closet. And I've been trying, I don't know why, but I just can't get rid of his clothes. And one day I just packed up, like was trying to pack it up and take it to Goodwill, and it just it, it just bothered me so badly that I was like, I can't, I can't. So life is like it's like a routine to me now. Like it's just I get up, I get happy when I see my grandkids. So when they leave, I go back to this same routine that I do now. It's just existing. And um taking the medication. It's just rough, y'all. It is really rough. It is really rough. And so that's my little story, y'all. That's like everybody said I wear the way I feel on my face. A lot of people always ask me that. Like they be like, you're smiling, but your eyes is telling a different story. I'm just trying to get to the point that, and I got videos galore, y'all. I got videos galore because my dad was a photographer and he did movies of my life from the time I was a baby until I want to say right before my mom passed. But it don't get no easier. It really doesn't. It really don't get no easier. But yeah, so that's my little story time for y'all. This is like my raw, just out there story time. Just letting y'all know that um I've been like backed up on vlogs lately, and it's like I be trying to get the energy to do it because I want this to be another income, but it's so hard. I'm not even gonna lie, it's hard. And then people say it takes time, and I've been vlogging for years now, but I just my heart is just so like it's hard to explain. But y'all got my story time. So thanks everyone for all your comments. And yeah, if you haven't if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna do I'm getting ready to do a vlog. Actually, I started a vlog with my grandkids earlier today. I just never put it together, but I just felt the need to do a story time for you guys. But I appreciate all y'all live. I will see you guys in my next live. All right, guys. Peace. Love you guys.